Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is Zip back with you to talk about crypto and everything that's going on in this asset class. I am excited, and I hope you're still excited beyond what is going on in the market. As we talk about, you have to remain non-emotional. And tonight we're going to go over the bigger picture of what is going on with ETFs, the supply shock that absolutely I believe is going to happen in the next 30 to 60 days, as well as the OCC dropping more bullish news with the banks and what the opportunity is there for them to now hold crypto assets on their statements. We're going to get into all that. But again, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for all the likes, the comments. Continue to put those into the algorithm, drop them in because it just helps grow the channel. And I still believe this is the best time to absolutely be alive if you can keep your mindset straight and you can understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint, and the best is absolutely yet to come if you're invested in high-grade cryptos like XRP, which we're going to talk about, like XLM, HBAR, many of the other utility tokens out there that are absolutely transforming the financial infrastructure as we know it. But let's get into this. Oh, and I wanted to also drop in there, I now have an email in the comments below. You can reach out to me. The website, my domain, is out there as well. You can start to go explore that. As I stated in the last video, we're going to start to make some changes within the channel and just opening up opportunities so we can try to help as many people as possible, as I believe, again, this is the greatest opportunity to transform your family's future economic environment without a doubt. Again, nothing I say is financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing through this journey and sharing my experiences and telling you my plan and what's going on in this market. Now let's get into it. Now, let's dive into this XRP ETF event, if you want to call it that, that is going on, because we had another XRP ETF drop today that we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about what it means really for the next 30 to 60 days. And I am still tapping on Q4 while the markets are down right now with everything we see going on with liquidity and the overall market structure. Fundamentals haven't changed. I believe Q4 could surprise some folks still. And I've been speaking about that from the beginning of this year. And we got a long ride to still go, but we'll see what happens. But the next 30 to 60 days, we're talking about the potential of XRP supply shock that could absolutely send XRP soaring. Now, does that mean to thousands of dollars? No, we're going to talk about that a little bit, but we're going to break it down step by step, based upon what you see here from Chad Steingraber's X post and what it means as he's been following these ETFs. But, this is happening right now, folks. Canary went live last week, November 13th. Bitwise just debuted today. And remember, we have a ton more XRP spot ETFs that are coming. So let's talk about the anticipation and absolutely what this is building towards. So first, let's picture this. We got the Bitwise XRP ETF closed today with about $26 million, translating into 8 to 10 million of actual XRP that's going to be scooped up and held, while Canary's $17 million close today adds another $3 million. That's $11 to $13 million of XRP off the market in one day. Chad's projecting a minimum of 6 million XRP per day moving forward across both funds. And again, that's only two funds. We've got more big boys to still be dropped yet. With only $56.6 billion, I believe it is, of XRP circulating supply of the 100 billion total supply. Remember, Ripple still has that large escrow that's there, that's locked up. This steady drain absolutely is going to tighten and tighten the float really quick. So imagine millions of XRP vanishing into institutional hands daily, every day. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Market makers might dump. We're seeing the markets down. They're going to dump their holdings to cash in or stabilize prices after these launches. We've seen it time and time again. And we saw XRP dip last week with Canary's debut amid, again, a bleeding market. The Bitcoin's down, everything is down, causing, in the end, really that bullish momentum that our expectation we thought we were going to see when the markets were up. It's kind of neutralizing all of that right now. To be expected. Not a big deal. Big picture. This dump could kick off, which is kicking off right now, and let's just say it lasts another 10 to 15 days. We don't know. But let's think December 5th to 10th, they offload $10 to $20 million worth of XRP, and it's going to create some serious short-term pressure. It's how the markets respond. But here's where the twist is. The ETFs that are getting dropped, that have already been dropped, are coming in and soaking up all of that XRP. As this dump unfolds, Bitwise, along with Canary, because that's what we have dropped right now, are going to continue to be buying because we have institutional customers that are coming in with these brokerages that are scooping up all of this XRP. So by mid-December, just based off of these two, could pull 120 to 450 million XRP out of circulation. Now, that's a tiny slice of the $45.5 billion in retail and exchange hands, but it's enough to start creating pressure and supply demand. And when this starts to happen, now the stage is set for that big move. Now let's look closely. Let's go back. We have a historical relevance in a playbook. If we look at Bitcoin's playbook, after its ETF launch in January of 2024, BTC saw a 13-day dump and then a 90% rally over a 51-day period. For XRP, if the dump wraps up in early December and we get through all this market consternation, the pump could ignite mid-December and run all the way through late 2020, January of 2026, 30 to 60 days from today. It takes time to start to see all this development. So we're starting at $2. A 90% rally could push it over that all-time high of $3.80 and even a lot higher. But hold on, because there's a lot of variables here. If the market makers continue to dump and more than what the ETFs can handle, yeah, it might delay the rally, but the inevitable, that tsunami is there. And it's absolutely going to create a supply crunch because, again, we still have the other ETFs that are yet to drop. And I personally believe and see a larger upside unfolding due to all the other events that we have been talking about. But this is where you just need the patience just to hold on and watch it all play out. Do not engage in the emotional market controversy. The next 30 to 60 days could be a wild ride for XRP. Are we going to see a supply shock and explosive pump? The clock's ticking. Let's watch it unfold together and we'll see what happens. Now, let's talk about this bullish news. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the macro of what is going on in this space and how it's transforming the financial infrastructure and doing away with the old and bringing in the new digital asset class and infrastructure. The OCC just dropped an absolutely huge nuke on the old banking system, and almost nobody's talking about it. in the right way, in my opinion. You know, the interpretive letter 1186 sounds boring, right? Wrong. You really have to go out and you have to read these letters and think about what they are saying. But I'll give you my feedback thesis from reading it. So maybe you don't have to, but this, in my opinion, is one of the biggest green lights the US banks now have ever gotten to go full crypto native, you know, without third parties. So let's break this down and show why this quiet change is another reason to be absolutely bullish on crypto and the future of where it's going. Now, the Office of the OTC Comptroller stated national banks can now hold crypto, actual crypto, physical crypto on their balance sheets. Now, not in a custody account, not through Fireblocks, not through Coinbase custody, on their own balance sheet. This is a huge dynamic, and there's a couple reasons for that we're going to get into. One, paying network fees. So the OCC said they can hold it to pay network fees. If a bank is custodying, saying RLUSD, tokenized treasuries, or running any smart contract for customers, they need to be able to hold the asset like XRP to pay for that gas. Now, before this letter, they had to outsource those tiny XRP wallets to third-party providers. But now the whole game has changed. They can actually hold XRP themselves. Now, yeah, this sounds small and insignificant until we think about and we realize, again, every single transaction on the XRPL requires what? Every one of them requires XRP. And that means it just became a fair game for banks to handle this in-house. And again, it's not just about XRP. This world is going to be interoperable. But these are the changes that we want to see for the assets that we're holding. The second reason is it absolutely opens up the doors for even more future integration. Remember, this environment is growing and becoming expansive and is absorbing the old infrastructure. So that means that JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, you name the bank, they start with holding crypto for gas fees, and they're holding the native tokens required to do so, like XRP, like HBAR, like XLM, pick one. But here's the part that's really explosive. Guess what just became operational necessity then, instead of complete speculation? What about staking rewards? Banks can now, based on this letter, legally earn yield on proof of stake tokens like Ethereum and call it safe and sound risk management, reading this document. That's the big picture. Imagine JP Morgan running its own Ethereum environment with customers' tokenized deposits. Remember, we're moving into the future of tokenization. This is the big picture. BNY Mellon holding XRP to power instant settlement rails. It goes on and on with the capabilities that this now allows. And this is an absolutely huge development. You know, this is why utility tokens are about to absolutely take scorched earth with what is going on to the upside. So we're talking about XRP, ETH, XLM, SOL, HBAR, every chain that actually does something real for institutions just got handed a direct institutional rail. That's what's going on here. Banks can now touch the base layer themselves. Bottom line, the era of banks being forced to basically rent silos for crypto exposure with third parties has just ended. And we are entering an age of sovereign banking on public chains. You know, the plumbing infrastructure is now becoming legal for the banking environment. The only question that's really left is which layer one is going to onboard the first $1 trillion of bank on that bank balance sheet. My money's on a couple. What do you think? You know, and this is not coming in 5 years. This is going to happen rapidly as we're seeing that flywheel effect happen. This is going to happen over the course of the next 6, 12, and 24 months that we're going to see dynamic changes to the infrastructure of the banking system. You know, the banks are coming, and at this time, they're not asking for keys from someone else. They're bringing their own keys to the party. Absolutely exciting developments with everything going on, with the markets being down. You got to see the bigger picture and stay non-emotional with what is going on from price action. Remember, it's not about price today, it's price in the future. And with everything exploding in this environment, with all the administration and the agencies making changes like the OCC has done yesterday, the future is absolutely bright. But with that, please be safe out there, because there's still a lot of scammers out there taking a lot of good folks' money. Protect your email, protect your system environment, lock it all down, hold your keys, get your stuff off the exchanges. In my opinion, self-custody is the way to go, but you want to do it safely and you want to be smart about it. Again, drop those comments, hit the likes, please, subscribe so you get notifications as the next videos come out and we document this journey together. And someday in the very near future, we're going to wind up on the most beautiful beaches of the world together. With that, Zip is out.